Hi, and welcome to Tika's Teachables. I am signing in a little bit early today just so I can allow a few people to sign in and join me. I'm down at the studio and I am looking forward to showing you some brush strokes today. So if you're just joining me, make sure and say hello. I can see your messages and look forward to having you here today. We have a few upcoming events that we want to make sure that you check out, and rather than show you each thing like I've been doing in past weeks, I figure it's probably best for you just to go to visionsofwonderland.com and see everything we've got there. So I'm going to get started in just a moment here, and I am going to be painting on wood today. I am using a couple different brushes. I've got a flat brush. This is a 1/2 inch flat brush. I have a round brush. This is number 5. I have a long, I don't know if you can see that one, find it there, a long detail brush. I'm sorry, a liner brush, and then my detail brush is a tiny one. So I'm going to use each of those just so I can give you an example. There have been a few different people that have asked about doing fine line for lettering and things like that, and we have Elisa Schulter is getting ready to come and teach a hand lettering class this weekend. Actually, it just sold out, and so we've gone ahead and put another one on the calendar. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch the camera around so you can see what I'm doing, and feel free to ask questions as I'm going. All right. So hopefully, there we go. I want you to be able to see what I'm doing here. All right, hopefully that'll work for you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start by getting my brush wet. I am using acrylic paint today. I've got Americana. This is a great craft paint. And since I'm painting on wood today, this is my paint of choice. I've got titanium white, and I'll put a little festive green on there also. All right, so I'm going to start with the flat brush. I just got it wet. I'm going to get green on there. Now, loading your brush, you'll want to start just by getting it on the hairs, the bristles there, no more than halfway up it. Otherwise it ends up being, it goes up into the ferrule, the metal part, and we don't want that. It ruins the brush. So hopefully you guys can see this. I'm going to just use the edge of that brush. I'm going to lighten that up to get another line in there. There we go. So I've got kind of a pale green going. Now to do leaves, I'm going to start on the line and then I'll twist as I go outward. The nice part about acrylics is if it doesn't work right the first time, you can go right back over it. You can even let it dry and add more to it. All right, so that's using a flat brush. You can see I can get both a fat brush stroke like that, or turn it sideways and I get a thin brush stroke. So I'm going to rinse that brush out. I don't know why I can't see your messages today. Well, hopefully you can you can see me, or what I'm doing. All right, so I want to show how to use these longer haired brushes. This one is kind of, it's seen better days, but when we wet it, do you see how it goes to a point there? All those hairs clump together and we get a nice fine point. I want the camera to focus on that. That's better. Okay, so if I want to come in here and say I want to write a word, or I want a thin line. If I roll the brush in the paint like this, Hi, Danelle, I see you now. Yay, I can see words. All right, so hopefully you can see this. I'm rolling the brush in the paint so it goes to a point, and then as I come on here, I can just go real slow. I like to take my time when I'm doing fine lines like this. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but there's an ice cream truck going by right now. That's how you know it's officially spring break here. Oops. All right, so I got paint all over my brush, and I don't want it up in that metal part, so I'm gonna rinse it off. This is proof that even the teacher makes mistakes. All right, so I've got nice thin lines by doing that. And I just want to take my time. Now this is a long liner brush, and by long I mean the hair goes from the metal part to the tip of the brush. It's about 1 inch long. I can use this shorter one here. It's about, I don't know, it's about 1/2 inch long, maybe a little bit less than that. And I'm going to use it the same way. I'll roll it in the paint there so it goes back to a tip. And do the same thing. Now, what's the difference? What would you use one brush versus the other? The nice thing about the longer haired brush is it gives you more paint time. I have to keep re-dipping with this little one. But the longer brush gives me more for the paint to hold on to. Even more so when we're painting on wood because it soaks it up and dries so quickly. All right, I'm going to dot my eye right there. I've got spring on my mind, can you tell? All right, so another thing I can do here is I can come back any place that I go down with a brush stroke like this. I can thicken it up and it makes the letters look nice. I'm going to switch back to that longer brush because I like it better. The longer one takes a little bit getting used to, but since that's what I'm used to, that's what I use more often. For those that are just starting out, I recommend the smaller detail brush. It gives you more control even though you have to dip more often. All right, so I was talking about the downstrokes. Here, as I'm coming around the S, and this is a downstroke, I'm going to thicken that part of that S, and it breaks across the wood, the two pieces of wood. So I'm going to actually continue my brush stroke into that crack, and I'll thicken this part here as I bring it down. All right. So same thing, just keep rolling it in that paint. It helps it to keep that fine tip on there. I've got my downstroke on the P. And coming around the P. All right, this one goes up, this comes down, and I'll bring it back in. Okay, so up into the eye and down again. So I'll thicken that one. Up on the N, down again. I'm going to square off the bottom of that one there. Up on the N and down again. Up on the G. Now, typically G's, we're going to come back, so that's what I'm going to do. and we go up, and then I already did this one on the downstroke. So that gives you an idea of how to make those letters, shape them, get thin lines. I can use this, and I can use the tip of it, and I can come in, make tiny little flowers on the vine that I put on the top there. I can do several of those and dot the centers. I didn't put any white or yellow out for the centers, but I can add those later. So this is just real simple. I wanted to keep this short for you today. Thank you guys for joining me. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw them on there. There's my timer. I was trying to keep it short. Thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you next week.